Dream Key. Thank you for joining the City of Kingston's Common Council at our community committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 24th. My name is Andrea Schott, the council president and organizer for our virtual meetings. Before we begin, we'd like to go over a few guidelines to help us navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully. We ask that members of the public and press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Council members, city staff, and guests would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a council member, staff, guest, or council wishes to speak, they will raise their hands. The chair will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners. All of our meetings are written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website. If you have any issues, send a text message to the following number, 845-594-20. Please note that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. Again, the number to text is 855-594-6120. As the organizer, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately. Lastly, at tonight's meeting, we have in attendance Chair Alderman Steve Shabbat, committee members Alderman Doug Koop, Alderman Don Tollerman, and I'll be subbing for Alderman Jeffrey Ventura Morel. City staff from the Office of Community Development, we have Advisory Council, we have Karen White and Ursula Ingham. Thank you for your patience during these difficult times. I now turn the floor over to Alderman Steve Shabbat.
Thank you. As I did last night, I'm having some audio issues here, so I'm getting my phone on open too, so I can, just in case. Everything's good right now. I would like to welcome everybody. And I'd like to turn my phone down first. Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 6:30. First of all, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 6:37, so we can get moving. We have a relatively short agenda tonight. I appreciate everybody's working with me on moving some things around, including our deliberations about allocations. We do have one item on the agenda tonight, which was recommended we put on because of the some time constraints. But before we get to that, we have to go through the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from last month's meeting? And if so, I will take a motion to accept them. Motion by Doug Koop. Second.
I'll second them.
Okay, seconded. Everyone in favor? Anyone opposed to that? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. I don't believe we have any unfinished business. So we will move right to the new business. We are going to be looking at one grant application tonight. Actually, Amy, do you want to address that? I mean, you've looked at it longer than I have. I asked Amy several questions already about it, and I got the answers I was looking for. This is for the Business Alliance of Kingston regarding the Made in Kingston event that is coming up very shortly. So we really don't have time to put this off and to discuss it with the other applications. I know firsthand what a great event this is. I've been a part of it before. I mean, it's a great event for the city. This year is going to be something entirely different. like we've been adjusting on the fly. I expect them to be, with this all online, it's going to be a whole new world. So there were some expenses in there that I was a little concerned with, but I think they all have to do with the new way we're doing business here. So I really don't have any issues with this. I think this is a good organization, well established organization, a great event that's well established, well attended. I think it's good for the city of Kingston. Amy, do you want to add on?
I just want to explain to the committee that, this is like a minor, I think that's the word, reallocation. Mandy, please correct me if I'm wrong. But the reason why this is coming to a vote, even though it is insignificant, is that this is a different activity. Pat has applied, this is with 2019 funding, even though this is in the 2020 fiscal year. So Pat can reapply, for next December's in this next round of funding. But the only reason why there's money available is because several months ago for the 1920 round of funding, so it was more than a year ago, you had awarded $5,000 to Kingston High School for their internship program. Sadly, because of the pandemic and school had to close, they were unable to conduct or complete the program. So I have it in writing to prove that they have to forego their funding. So that was $5,000. So basically we have $5,000 sitting around that needs to be reallocated. And so, Pat had applied, and so now I am asking you to consider, and this is under special economic development activities. Typically, this is an in-person live. You can go and touch stuff, but that's not allowed. So this is strictly online, and so, everything is on the website. I don't know if Pat wants to expand, or if anybody has any questions. Maybe we should just have let's take questions from the committee, if anyone has anything to ask. So Doug, Don, Corinne, Ursula, Steve, Andrea, Mandy.
Can I just say something real quick, because it's not a question, it's a comment? If there's any advisory council members who have called, you just want to send me a text if you have a question, because we can't see you.
Okay.
To do that, the number is 894-6120, or you can email me. Thank you.
This is Don Twyman. I'd like to hear from Pat how it's going to work virtually.
Sure. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for inviting me to this meeting. Like so many organizations, we were pretty bummed. We started out being pretty bummed just thinking about how to do this. It seemed like a big mountain to climb, but we start meeting pretty much right after the previous year's event ends. So we started, meeting in early spring of this year, talking about how we might handle a pandemic era event. And first we were going to cancel, but then with a little time and, everybody getting used to the idea, we decided, no, we had always thought that we could do a better web presence than we had previously done. We just didn't have the money or the time or the energy to do it. And now, out of necessity, here was our chance. So, there's about a dozen volunteers who hold Made in Kingston together. But there's 3 people who really spend a significant amount of time. So that's Karen Borelowitz, who is herself an artist, Rick Whalen, who does so much in graphic arts for the Midtown Arts District, as well as Made in Kingston and so many other organizations. And then Mark Marshall is the webmaster. So these 3, helped by, an advisory committee, have been building out a plan to bring people online. And again, I think what people enjoy about Made in Kingston is that even sometimes we invite the big established artists to come, they'll be there, but it's really about new and emerging artists. And so it ends up taking a lot of time to work with them. A lot of times they don't have websites yet. They don't have professional photographs or even photographs that, would translate well to the web. So everybody has been putting in a lot of time. Certainly, though, we're not anywhere near the number of applicants that we had before because people just don't get it. They're just not sure. So with your support, with the city's support, we're just going to really amp up the marketing and get the word out here. And also, we were delighted that the farmers market reached out to us and asked us to come shiver with them for the first two Saturdays in December, or maybe there's one, maybe it's the first and third Saturday in December. So we're actually going to be outside for two mornings. And so, it's on track to be a great event again with about 75 to 100 artists. We're for just $40, we're giving them a year's presence online. We're going to maintain the website for at least a year and keep it updated, keep it fresh, make sure that they can do their transactions. And so, we hope in this way to still be a boost to young and emerging artists in Kingston who are trying to launch.
75 to 100 artists?
Well, we've had 75 crammed into a physical space in the past. And so I think there's no reason at all why we couldn't top that now that there's no physical limit.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah, it's just a question of people learning about it,
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, I just have a couple comments. I don't know if there's any questions here, just a couple comments. I think this is a great example of using COVID to turn lemons into lemonade. I mean, you found a way to do this. I thought this was just going to be off the books for this year. I couldn't even imagine how this was going to happen. After hearing about how it's going to be done, I really think this is going to be, do I dare say better, for an artist. I was in it. I had my art on display a couple of years ago, but it's very difficult. You were in that big room and people are kind of shuffling by and it's a big crowd and, they have very limited time, to stand in front of each booth and look at, I probably had, 10 or 12 pieces. Well, people don't have time to stand there and look. They want to see the whole thing. Now they have, pretty much an unlimited time to look at everything, and, I think it's going to be really great. I think the artists will look at it. Are you still taking applications?
Yeah, and if any of you are in front of your computers, the website is up. It's madeinkingstonny.com. You can see what we've done so far.
Pat, I have a question. I'm looking at your application, and I just have a question about the expenses in your budget, where that $4,500 is going to. What is that going to fund? You have the coordinator, the graphic artist, insurance, chronogram, Hudson Valley One, Kingston Happenings.
Right. It goes to all of those, right? We propose to pay Karen Borelowitz $2,900 for, she really does, put in the hours. She's doing a great deal of media outreach for us now without any, assurance of funding. The graphic artist, They basically, they basically don't even give us a bill. We pay them what we can pay them. So I'm projecting that we can get $1,750 to each of them, the webmaster and the graphic artist.
Okay, but that would exceed the 4,500 you're asking. So I'm just saying, if this is approved, I will need a breakdown as to what exactly you want that 4,500 and to whom.
Okay, well, as you know, this has been funded in the past by the city of Kingston, and we're very grateful for that. So it's been on a reimbursement basis. I expect we would do it the same way. We are, if we weren't funded, we would cut everybody's, salaries back is what we would do.
Okay, so
we cut
you
back.
want like the 2,900 to completely go. So like the 2,900 for the coordinator, and one of the graphic artists for 1,750, that puts you at 4,650.
Right.
So would you want us to completely fund the coordinator and partially the graphic artist, partially the webmaster? I
think what the three of them would say is no, they should all take the hit. So in other words, we would take dollars off of each. The three of them, are a team. And so we would reduce everybody by the same amount.
So if you were awarded the 4,500, you would want 1,500 for each of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would work. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the past, one of the things that I've really enjoyed doing is that pretty much every dollar we raise is spent locally, right? We just turn around and, rent a tent or rent chairs or rent linens or whatever we're doing. It all stays local. This year we can't do that, but we are going to, invest in some media if we are successful in raising a few other dollars. Well, we have the fees coming in from the artists, for example. So, I think we've all noted that the media has been struggling in our area for a long time, and we like to support them as they've supported us.
Does anyone have any further questions for Pat or Amy?
Not for me. Don.
Will you be promoting the December farmers market appearance? Is that part of this?
Yeah, we already are. Karen's been doing Radio Kingston, and she's been doing, I think, is it KNY or the one across the river? Anyway, she's been doing a lot of radio appearances to promote it, and we have some signage on order.
Andrea?
If there are no more questions, does somebody have a committee report for this?
Say that again?
If there are no more questions, does anybody have a committee report so that next step would be to vote on this, correct?
Right.
Yeah, that was the idea. I don't have a committee report for it.
No, so I will work on it, for tomorrow for you to vote. I mean, the committee will vote tonight, and then and then it could go to the common council on Tuesday. How do you want to do this, Andrea?
Well, legally, but we don't have because we can't sign a committee report here. So what we have been doing during COVID is if we don't have a committee report on hand right now, either between the chair or the department, you would just have to say out loud for the record what the committee report would read, and then the committee would vote on it today. tonight. And then it would go to the council for the full vote on Tuesday. But it doesn't pass out of committee here. And so you don't have to have a committee report, figure out the language so that it's on record. But I do have a question. Somebody just texted me that they have a question, so it's BC. I'm gonna unmute all the callers. Hi, BC,
Okay,
are you there?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Cassandra.
My
Can you hear me?
Oh, wait, there's two of you talking. So we have BC first, and then we'll have Cassandra. So
Okay. Okay. So I'm looking at the Makers Market website for the Made in Kingston, and I do have a question. I appreciate that, all the artists are going to have an opportunity to show their stuff, but are they going to be able to sell anything on the site?
So, hi, BC. What we decided to do, it was really the strong feeling of the committee, was that we didn't want to get into e-commerce ourselves. So we are, connecting to the websites of the artists, many of whom have e-commerce. And then for those who don't, we're helping them come up with other arrangements, which, thank heavens, it's a citywide event, not a statewide event, whether it's a safe way to do drop-offs of the merchandise and where checks can be written and that kind of thing. But we decided for our first year out, we didn't want to take on e-commerce.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
I've actually done e-commerce, and there's quite a few things that can go wrong. But I mean, people do it all the time. It's just, it was a little beyond us for the first year.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Comfortable? All right. Thank you. Cassandra, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question, one, it was the same. One of the questions was the same as BC just had. And then also, how much did you receive in the prior years from this grant? And what was that used for?
Pretty much exactly the same thing. Pretty much the same dollars and the same uses.
Okay. Because my thing is, if it's going to be online now, it shouldn't need to be that same amount. It's a wonderful event I attend every year. So I'm sorry that we'll miss seeing it in person this year, but I just feel like the amount, because it's online now, and this artists still have to sell and get their products to the people themselves. It's pretty much sounds like a salary that you would be using the money for, where you was able to use the same amount before in person, which you were able to do a lot of more things.
I think the activity is a little different this year, Cassandra, in that we have to work harder to recruit people because a lot of people assume it's canceled. And so there's a lot of individual reaching out going on and hours being spent trying to help people think through their sites and how to set up their sites. There's a lot of hand holding going on because as I said, we don't specialize in working with high-end artists. We work with emerging artists and young artists, and we've always had a high school presence and all this kind of stuff. So I can attest that the coordinator is doing a lot of work that it's just different this year. It's a different kind of work, but it's still a marketplace that has to be organized and made viable. It seems to me that being that it would be online and with all the ways you can reach out online is actually probably even easier to reach people. So that part of the footwork wouldn't be even more so of a strain because, you could reach more people, through the website. So I'm just really talking about the money that you will be getting from this particular grant. I know it's probably going to be a lot of hard work in all other areas, but that's
we're just trying to figure out what the money that you were going to be using, you were going to use it for salary. And that shouldn't have to go because the people have to work harder, longer hours or whatever, when you can just use
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the budget, but it's not just salary. We're proposing to spend money on local advertising as well, because we have the city funding, we are fundraising from the business community, and then we have small amounts coming in from the artists. So
yeah, but when Amy or I'm not sure exactly who asked the question before, what you were using the money for, that's what you had said, the salary part.
It is.
So I'm only talking about that part.
If you look at the budget, yeah, the salaries, I wouldn't call them salaries, right? I would call them stipends, are the larger part. And then there's Chronogram, Hudson Valley One, Kingston Happenings. We're actually doing the Daily Freeman since I turned this in. We added that.
Okay, because like Amy said, you would have to write out each thing that you use this particular money for. So what would you use this particular money for? I'm sure there's a lot of expenses, but this particular thing, because that's what you have to show that you use it for. So,
and then what I was replying to Amy was, it's a reimbursement grant. So unless the rules have changed, the way we did it was kind of like first come, first serve invoices last year. So we would it's been more than just last year. We turn in invoices as we get them to the city and they reimburse us. So if the city can't reimburse us for Karen Borelowitz, we'll do more fundraising, or we'll spend less on Chronogram or whatever. We just make ends meet. It's a fluid budget where it's volunteer driven largely. And so we go with the money as it comes in. We make decisions as the fundraising allows. Karen would do this if there were less money, right? So that's true, but she's been at this for 8 years. So we're just trying to recognize her years that she wasn't compensated. That's why it is a larger number there.
That's the end of my question.
Do we have any further questions?
No, but it looks like we have, I'm just going to read this so Mandy could check, make sure this is okay for the committee report language. It would say to reallocate $4 from Kingston City Schools internship program, HUD Matrix Code 05H job training, to Business Alliance of Kingston's Made in Kingston, HUD Matrix Code 18A-ED, assistance to for-profits. Does that work, Mandy?
I'm going to say yes. I need to see what that matrix code is, but I'm sure Amy gave it to you.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't have to put me on that one.
Yeah.
Can I just say one more thing?
Read this again for the committee so you could take a vote.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. There's a big delay. I'm on the phone. I keep losing it. So I'm going to kind of defer to you because you seem to hear everybody at the correct time.
Sure.
You can give me a little direction. So, all right. So we have a committee report already. So we're looking for a motion or
Yeah.
or a
you want a motion
proposal.
now? Okay.
Is that a motion, Doug?
Yes, I move.
Okay, we have a motion.
And the motion is for the entire amount, the 4,500.
Yes.
The committee report is 4,500. Yes. So Coop has a motion on the floor. Does anybody from the committee, the Common Council Committee, want to second it? Don Tollerman is seconding it. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of us here because I'm voting for Jeffrey. So I'll call for a vote. All are in favor? Opposed? So the resolution passes 4-0. So this means it now goes to the comment at our full meeting on Tuesday for a vote.
Correct. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there's still a delay. Okay, thank you, everybody, for your input on this. I don't have any announcements. Amy, do you have any announcements? Amanda, do you have any announcements before we adjourn?
Mandy?
No, just that the new applications are out and pass the word on. And I had mentioned before that I had tried to upload it to the website, but the link is broken. So I'm waiting for Kyle or Joel to grab it out of our file and put it on there.
Okay, great. All right, thanks for everyone for being here. This was time well spent. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Motion
I'll
to
second.
adjourn, second by Andrea. All in favor? All right, thank you. Everybody have a good holiday. We will talk to you very soon, I'm sure.
All right, bye now.
Thank you.